Hello again and thanks for joining. Yes, it's another Fleischmann locomotive. I do actually like Fleischmann stuff and I got a big job lot of them recently, so I was very lucky. This is another one. This is a large class 221 locomotive from Germany and it's in this cream and blue colour. But this isn't the only colour that this model came in, because it also came in this maroon and dark grey colour, which I've also got. I think this is a newer version than the cream and blue one because it's in the polystyrene tray, whereas this one is in a plastic tray, which I think is the older version of this packaging. And this box is a lot more dirty as well. So this one is number 1384 in the Fleischmann range, and the newer one has the number 4236. So we're going to check out both these models today and see if there's any difference with the newer one over the older one, and also see how they run. Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but it's just to say that after filming this, I found out that the two locos are actually in the wrong boxes. So the red one is 1384 and the blue one is 4236, which actually makes it the newer one. This has implications when I summarise later in the video, in that it looks like Fleischmann downgraded the model over time. Anyway, just thought I'd mention, and let's get on with the show. So let's start off with the older one, the blue and cream. Let's get this open and check it out. We do have an instruction sheet in the box with this model. It's just showing here about the little stud that Fleischmann locomotives had to operate line-side accessories, and it's also showing you where to oil this model and how to change the light bulb, so it's obviously got lighting. And on the back it's got some more information about how to clean this. Obviously we've got the pancake motor here, and also how to clean your track. And here is the model. So first impressions, it's very impressive, and it was actually quite heavy getting out of the package, but let's have a closer look. So this is quite a hefty diesel in real life, and this model represents it very well. It's quite a chunky little model, this one. Looking at the front, we have very clear printing of the number and the DB logo. And we have these lights here, so the red ones are just printed on, and we have clear ones below that. So I'm guessing the light's going to shine through just the bottom ones. I do like the silver surrounds on those lights, have been done really well. And also we have these grills above it. And the definition is all pretty good in the plastic moulding of this body. Up here we've got some electrical flashes printed on, which are very good, and the windows have black surrounds, and the windscreen wipers have been picked out in black as well. Looks like another little lamp on the top, but I don't think that's illuminated. But you can see that some of the paint has been worn away there, so that's showing you that this was moulded in the cream colour and it's had the blue painted onto it, and also the grey on the roof. It's just a one-piece moulding. It's good that the windows are flush fit, and on the side you can just see inside there that we have a driver figure as well, and he is actually fully painted, and there is also some paint on the controls in there. I don't think it's picking it up on the camera, but you're going to have to trust me on that one. Down in the buffer beam, it's got the typical kind of curtain effect underneath the bottom of these diesels, and we've got 4 little jumper cables as well as the usual Fleischmann coupling hanging out the front here, which is articulated separate to the bogie. And looking down the side, this door here is fairly well defined, and it has 2 handrails which have been picked out in silver, and you can see these windows flush fit and with the silver surrounds look really good. We've got another window here which has got a grille over it and it's been picked out in the silver, and the actual vents as well look pretty good, especially these ones here in the cream, which go straight through the body into the insides of this model. And even this window in the middle, you can see it has a representation of the engine room inside there, and that's pretty good that it's been added in. The printing all the way along here is absolutely spot on. It's no problems at all. Some of it's very small and it's barely readable with the naked eye, but it's really nice and clear. And I do like the darker grey area down here, which has got a lot of detail moulded in as well. Further down the locomotive, the only difference is this little hatch here, and obviously the number 2 on the door. And as we look around this end, it's very similar to the first end, but we don't have any driver inside here because you can actually see part of the motor. On the other side of the loco is a slightly different view into the engine compartment. That's really quite cool that that's been done like that. We do have a bit of a mark coming up here. I don't know whether that's from the factory or it's just with age, because this is a second-hand model, as you can imagine. Up on the top, it's been painted dark grey, and it's got a lot of detail with all these hatches and rivets, and the grills all look very convincing. There is a bit of paint coming off here though, and that's showing the cream coming through from the plastic. So it's a shame that the paint is wearing off, but I guess this is quite an old model now. Bogies look pretty good as well. Nice detail on there, lots of deep relief. And as we look underneath, you can see this is the driven bogie. It's got gears on this side and traction tyres all round. The other bogie has the stud and it's just picking up. And there is a lot of movement on these bogies, but it should be okay on the track. We'll give it a go in a few minutes. And in the centre section, We've got some more detail moulded in here. You wouldn't ever see this when it's running on the track, but it's really good that it's there. And 2 screws which are holding this model together. And here you can see Fleischmann HO made in Germany. So let's open this up and we'll have a look at the mechanism. Well, the body shell off, and underneath I can see that the red is actually an extra part that's been added in. It isn't printed, but it doesn't illuminate, as you can see. The chassis is made of metal and it's been painted in the kind of bluey aqua colour and the dark grey. The motor's sitting here on top of this bogie and it does move around quite a bit. And we do have light bulbs at both ends, but this one has come away a little bit, so I don't think it's going to work. It's obviously broken there. But it's great that we have the motor all modelled here. This piece of plastic looks very convincing and it's really good that that's been added in. We've got plastic gear wheels here on the side of the motor and they seem to turn okay. I think this model will run fine and hopefully at least one of the lights will work. We'll give it a go in a few minutes, but in the meantime let's have a look at the other one. Again, we have an instruction sheet with this model, but it has been updated with different graphics and it doesn't actually show the finish that we've got on this one here, but it's telling you the same kind of stuff about how to oil this model, and on the back a little bit of information about the stud and how to clean your track. And here is this model, and it's very similar as you would expect to the one we've just had a look at, but there are some significant differences. The most notable one is actually these silver surrounds that go around here and down to a point on the bonnet and around the skirt here as well. These are actually moulded in and picked out in chrome, and they have little indents in them as well. It looks really quite cool, that. This model also has a similar problem to the first in this little light at the top. But anyway, the paint is coming away and you can see that it's been moulded in red plastic and painted in the dark grey. I do like the chrome surround around the lights and also these grills above it. The printing on here is very good as well, although the DB logo isn't absolutely 100%. And we have round circles on the buffers as well, and that's not evident on the first one. There's different decoration on this. Obviously the number 1 is more pronounced on here and in a different font, and we have different writing down on this area. But aside from that, it looks to be exactly the same model. One of the differences here at the doors is that these little handrails are actually now pieces of wire. And this one does have a bit of odd paint going on up here. I think that's from the factory. I don't think this has been resprayed at all at any point. So that's not very good there, unless it's just glue overspill from this window. But either way, it's not very good. It's exactly the same setup on the roof, same kind of vents and exhausts. And again, we have a driver inside, although he's got a different outfit on in this one. And there's no difference underneath this model at all, although this bogie here is actually really quite dirty. I think it's just maybe had too much oil at some point. Anyway, let's open this up and we'll see if we've got the same inside as the first one. Well, the only difference on the body shell is that you can see the wires coming through for the handrails. And the chassis is exactly the same, obviously not painted on this one, it's all black. But we have the same kind of motor and the same gears as well. And the light bulbs, not broken on this one. And still the middle part with the representation of the motor, which looks really good. So I think we should probably give these a go on a test track. Let me get them back together and then we'll give them a run. Okay, we've got what I think to be the older of the two on the test track. As usual, it's just the Hornby third radius track that I've got sitting around. And I'm using my H&M controller on 12 volts DC to give it some power. So let's see what happens. Well, it was working great there for a little minute and then it just seemed to stop and then start shorting out the track. So I'm not quite sure what's happening, so I'm going to have to open it up and check it out. Well, it's this light bulb that's the problem. It seems to be when it's in its little socket it works fine, but then if it touches onto here it just shorts out the track. So I'm going to have to fix this into here. I'll probably just glue it back in, I think. Well, that's fixed it up, and yeah, I know it's a bit of a botched job, but neither of the lights seem to work on this model, so it's maybe ripe for an upgrade to LEDs or something like that. Anyway, let's give the maroon one a go on the test track as well, see how that runs. Well, no problems with this one at all. It crawls along really nicely, and all the lights work as well. Even the light up on the top of the cab works too. And it seems to be a little bit quieter as well. So I think this one has been refined over the older one. But let's put both of them on the scales and see how they fare up against one another. So the maroon one weighs 526 grams. And the blue one is slightly heavier at 528. Well, these two old Fleischmann diesel locomotives certainly have a lot of presence. The Class 221 was a big beefy diesel, and it's represented well with these two models, that's for sure. You can also see the evolution of Fleischmann over the years. The one at the back there, the blue one, I think is the older one. The one at the front seems to just have a little bit extra going for it. I like the V-shaped livery on the front nose and the chrome trim around the edges, and it's been done pretty good on this model. They've also upgraded it with little wire handrails at the doors, and it seems the mechanism is just slightly more refined on it as well. These models obviously don't stack up against modern day versions, but from an era when they were produced, these are actually really, really good. The performance is fantastic on the track. They crawl along at a slow speed, and they're quite nicely geared so they can move if they want to, but they're not too fast. There are some issues with the paint where it's wearing off, like on the front little light at the roof, and also in the case of the older one on the actual roof itself. But there are some fantastic things here, like the roof detail is really good, and I like the fact that the interior has been modelled on these, and also that you get a driver, and really acceptable, and I think these models are pretty cool. Which one's your favourite? For me, it's the newer version, obviously. I like that maroon colour, it's quite stylish, but I do have a soft spot for the older one as well that also looks pretty cool. So they're both really good in my mind, but I would opt for the newer version if you're thinking about buying one of these. But what's your thoughts on these? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear what you think of these. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. I'm going to put the maroon one onto the turntable so you can see all the way around. Thanks for checking out these models with me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's have some music.
So model train, model world, choo choo, model train, tiny in tiny worlds, choo choo.